Hey guys, I've got a big batch of Batman books to cover in this one, so I'm going to skip the intro, and with the help of my weighted gloves, I'm going to just dive right into this thing. Okay, so the first thing that I picked up was Gotham Central Volume 1, and this is from the Eagle Moss collection. There were two volumes. Basically, the first 20 issues in this one is the first half of the series. I think that this is one of Ed Brubaker's best works. I do think the whole Point Break and Sleeper thing for Wildstorm he did is his best, but this is probably better well known. And he was also doing the Catwoman relaunch at the time, but this Gotham Central, I don't believe, tied into any events or anything. The end of the series did kind of lead into Infinite Crisis tie-in involving the Spectre and whatnot. But this is a really solid story. Obviously, Batman fights a lot of these like freaks and weirdos and superpowered villains and stuff, but this is kind of like what does it look like for the average human cop who's walking a beat and trying to deal with all this madness and stuff like that. Really good noir type story. Definitely recommend that you check it out. Next up, I've got more Eagle Moss Batman, and this is the Batman Eternal Volumes 2 and Volume 4. So it's half of the series. This was the weekly series, I believe. Was published by Scott Snyder alongside his run of Batman during the New 52 era. I think some of his other frequent contributors helped on this one too. I don't know much about this because I wanted to avoid spoilers. I basically got all of the New 52 Batman, so I am planning on sitting down and kind of reading that as one consecutive story in the near future. But so it's just cool having the first two because then I really just need to track down the other two, and I've got the whole thing. And I actually picked up Batman and Robin Eternal, Volume 1. This is sort of like a follow up to the Batman Eternal series in the sense that I'm pretty sure this was another weekly, but it only ran for 26 instead of 52 issues. And I actually have Volume 2 from the regular DC printing run. That I got on another haul. So now I have the whole story of this. I did kind of sort of browse through it, and it's my understanding that this reintroduces former Batgirl Cassandra Cain to the New 52 universe, and I know she goes by the name Orphan. But the character's cool. I'd like to see how she's handled in this sort of new reality. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. Batman War Games. How much I hate this storyline. Now, first of all, this says it's actually Volume 2. That's because Volume 1 was a separate sort of little, I guess, prelude event called War Drums. This is War Games. I hate it because they killed, and it was later thankfully retconned, they killed Stephanie Brown. Now, she was officially the fourth Robin in continuity before Damian, the first female Robin in continuity. She actually kind of took over the lead for starting with issue 126 of the Robin series. What had happened was so Tim Drake was dating Stephanie Brown, the spoiler, and his relationship really could only advance to a certain point. So Batman kind of took the initiative and told her, Tim's real identity. And he got pissed off as Batman, so he quit. And then she stepped in to fill in as the new Robin. Now, what happened was she found some Batman contingency plans on sort of how to take down every gang in Gotham at the same time. And so she started to execute those plans. But what she wasn't aware of was that they were all dependent on Matches Malone. And she had no idea that's obviously an alter ego that Batman has when he's sort of investigating on the streets. So it led to widespread chaos. She gets killed, and then They undid it in another one they called War Crimes, but that was like a year later or something like that. And yeah, it turns out she faked her death, and Leslie Tompkins helped her go underground. Blah blah blah. Um, I did not enjoy this. Perhaps reading it now, after the fact that I know that she comes back, maybe I'll get more out of it. This is Batman Black and White Volume 2, and this is a really cool book. So, first of all, most of the stories in here are from the book Gotham Knights, and what they actually are, they were backup stories, and they have some amazing creators involved. I'll freeze frame it here for a sec so you guys can pause the video if you want and take a look at some of the names. There's a great mix here of both sort of mainstream and more indie creators. Now, this book, this backup series, was essentially let's get these great creators, let's give them a couple pages to tell some really cool Batman stories. They were pretty loose, as I understand, when with letting these creators tell whatever they wanted. They're kind of just generic Batman stories. They're not set in any particular continuity or at any point in his career. And just as you can see on the pages, the art looks gorgeous. It was published in black and white, and I do know that they actually adapted some of this into a sort of black and white miniseries or maybe one of those motion comic things. Anyways, this was a huge score for me, and if you've never read any of the black and white stuff, you should get on that. And lastly, I have Frank Miller's Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. Now, first of all, hopefully I can sort of give a good indication. This is actually an oversized book from the Eaglemoss collection. Now, I guess that's to highlight the artwork, which, first of all, I think is terrible. It's inconsistent. This Frank Miller, I think Andy Kubert, and somebody else worked on it. So you can definitely tell which parts are Frank Miller because I don't know how old he is now, but his art kind of looks crap. And I'm going to give my hot take and say that I think Frank Miller ruined Batman. Now, the original Dark Knight Returns, I think, is a classic story. I think it's an essential Batman story. I read the first issue of DK2, didn't like it, didn't bother collecting the rest or reading the rest. And what I mean when I say he ruined Batman is that that was a great story, and he wrote this really dark, grim, gritty Batman that was super cynical because he was old. He had, gone through this lifetime of fighting crime and watching the world kind of devolve around him. Now, as great as that was, it seems like for a while afterwards, every writer tried to write the same version of Batman. And, I never viewed Batman that way. Like, I feel like he does what he does because he's motivated by hope. This is a guy who saw his family killed in front of him, and what he wants to do is spare anybody else, any other families, any innocent people from the same type of stuff. I mean, there's a reason why he adopts these orphans and builds his own little family. But that I feel like that's not something that didn't happen until the last 10, 15 years. Even Grant Morrison writing Batman, his actual Batman run I liked, but I didn't like the way he wrote Batman in the JLA title. Anyways, that's going to be it for this one. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.